All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into an ancient food that's having a serious moment right now. And it's not just about the taste. We're talking about some truly mind-blowing health benefits. Let's talk about ceremonial cacao. So let's just jump right in with a pretty wild question. Can a food that ancient cultures called the food of the gods actually double your body's healing power? I mean, that sounds like a huge claim, right? Well, we're going to dig into the science and see how it lines up with thousands of years of tradition. So first, let's take a step back, way, way back. Because long before cacao was ever put under a microscope or, turned into a chocolate bar, it had this deeply sacred place in human history. I mean, for ancient civilizations like the Mayans and the Aztecs, this wasn't just food, not even close. It was considered a divine plant, literally the food of the gods. They used it in their most important, most sacred rituals. Think rites of passage, spiritual ceremonies. They believed it actually helped them connect to the divine. Now, we have to be super clear about something you see here. When we say cacao, we are not talking about the hot cocoa mix you grab at the supermarket, the stuff on the right. No way. Ceremonial cacao is a pure, minimally processed paste, and it's packed with these powerful plant compounds. It's really a world away from that sugary sweet treat. And this quote just hits the nail on the head, right? For centuries, the benefit wasn't something you could measure in a lab. It was something you felt. It was all about this emotional, spiritual experience, this feeling of an open heart. So what happens when modern science decides to take a closer look at that very same idea? Okay, let's put on our lab coats and see how this ancient wisdom holds up under some serious scientific scrutiny. And let me tell you, the results are pretty stunning. So a team of researchers over at the University of California, San Francisco did this really fascinating study. They had people drink a specially prepared high-flavanol cacao drink twice a day, and then they just watched and measured to see what happened inside their bodies. Okay, get this. This is the first result, and it's a jaw-dropper. The people in the study saw a doubling of their circulating stem cells. Now, if you don't know, stem cells are basically your body's master repair crew. They're what you use for regeneration and healing. So in short, the cacao literally appeared to double the body's natural healing power. That's huge. But wait, there's more. They also saw a massive, and I mean massive, 47% improvement in something called endothelial function. Just think of that as a measure of how healthy and flexible your blood vessels are. It's a really crucial marker for your heart health. And a nearly 50% improvement, that's kind of unheard of. So what's the magic ingredient here? Well, scientists think the real hero of the story is this specific plant compound, a type of flavanol called epicatechin. This little molecule seems to be the powerhouse behind these incredible effects. And here's the thing, these flavanols, they aren't just some interesting little footnote in a biology textbook. They might actually be one of our best defenses against a very modern kind of stress that pretty much all of us deal with every single day. So just to make sure we're all on the same page here, flavanols are just these natural compounds you find in plants like cocoa, but also berries and tea. And they're getting a lot of attention lately for their really positive effects on our heart and blood vessels. And this is where it gets so relevant to our modern lives. Most of us, we spend a huge amount of time just sitting, at a desk, in the car, on the couch. Studies show young adults are spending for around 6 hours a day. And for a lot of us, let's be honest, it's probably even more than that. And all that inactivity, it really takes a toll. And here's where it gets, well, kind of scary. The connection is just staggering. Other studies have found that for every tiny 1% drop in your vascular function, that blood vessel health we talked about, your risk of cardiovascular disease jumps up by 13%. That is a massive risk for such a small change. But here's the good news. You don't have to rely only on ceremonial cacao to get these benefits. Flavanols are in a ton of common foods. Things like berries, apples, nuts, even your daily cup of black or green tea are fantastic sources that can help protect your health. Okay, so let's tie all of this together. We've got thousands of years of spiritual tradition on one hand, and we've got cutting-edge cellular biology on the other. So, are they fighting with each other? Not at all. It's actually the opposite. The science seems to be giving us the physical how behind what ancient cultures knew intuitively. That feeling they described as an open heart, well, maybe that's directly connected to a real, physical, measurable improvement in blood flow and vascular health. The science isn't debunking the wisdom, it's backing it up. So, what do we do with all this? What's the bottom line? Well, researchers have two simple but really powerful suggestions. First, make a real effort to add more of those high-flavanol foods into your diet. And second, just break up those long stretches of sitting. Even short little walks can make a huge difference. The two of those together could be a total game changer for your health. And that's really the perfect way to sum it all up, isn't it? We have this ancient practice, totally rooted in a deep wisdom about how a plant affects the human body and spirit. And now it's being confirmed and explained by modern science. And that leaves us with a really cool question to think about. Cacao is not the only plant or practice with this incredibly rich history of traditional use. It really makes you wonder, what other ancient wisdom is out there, just waiting for the right scientific study to come along and show us exactly how it works?